Hi, this is Irv from Software for Healthcare. On your screen, you'll see everything you'll need to know about ICD-10's once we fill in the blanks here. Basically, we're looking at an ICD-9 right here. And by the way, you can maximize your screens and set the high definition by clicking the little gear icon on the bottom left of YouTube once you go to full screen and set it to HD, which is 720. Then it may take about 30 seconds to get clear, but you may be fine just watching it in a smaller screen. So this is the ICD-9 code, and it's just a rotator cuff capsule sprain. We all know a rotator cuff's somewhere up in our shoulder, and it's probably something that gets injured when you play football or tennis or something. So underneath this ICD-9 is the ICD-10 equivalent. Of course, the ICD-10, as you know, is a new diagnosis coding system, new to America anyway, that will be required by every medical person doing insurance anyway by October 1st of 2014. So let's take a look at what the differences are. The old ICD-9 codes were straightforward. There's a number and then there's a description. Now this one code turns into these 9 codes. When I started looking up this code, I was very fortunate to just randomly pick rotator cuff, because that one code has just about everything we need to know about the whole coding system. I'm talking about the technical features of the system, not necessarily the clinical side. You obviously need to do more studying on the clinical side to understand stuff, but this will show you how we're going to code it. So let's just take a look at these and let's look at the definitions of those. And here's the 9 definitions. Sprain of rotator cuff capsule. Next one's sprain of rotator cuff capsule. They're all the same definition, except we've got right, 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 left, 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 and unspecified. The old one was unspecified. It also tells us whether it was the initial visit, the subsequent visit, or sequela, which means continuing visits. And if you look at these numbers, look at this. 1, 1, 1, that means right, right, right. 2, 2, 2 means left, left, left. 9, 9, 9 means unspecified, unspecified, unspecified. And ADS means initial, subsequent, sequela. ADS again, and ADS, they all mean initial, subsequent, sequela. So it doesn't take too long to figure out that, gee, there's a real strong pattern here. Here's our ICD-9 code. This is really the equivalent ICD-10 code. By the way, the ICD-10s are put out by the World Health Organization, and they're in use all through the world, but finally the U.S. is going to use it too. I guess it'll be good to track things like H1N1 and all that stuff. So now you just have an extra digit. We had a 421 for right, or 422 for left, and 429 if we didn't know. Then we had an ADRS added to that for the initial visit or subsequent or following. So that's all it was. It's actually very straightforward. The ICD-10s always begin with a letter. Then they always have the second character is always a number. And after that, they're numbers and letters. It doesn't matter, although sometimes there's values assigned to the numbers and letters, which is kind of neat. I call them suffixes. Okay, so that's a suffix and that's a suffix. And they can be up to anywhere from 3 characters, so you could just have an S43. In this case, that wouldn't work, but you can go all the way up to 7, which these were all 7. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's your codes. Okay, so now we know really how the coding system works. And of course, you probably guessed that the letters mean something. So let's find that S. Here's an S. An S is an injury. And sure enough, a sprain sounds like an injury to the rotator cuff. Let's look at some of the other ones like chiropractic and PT. A lot of them will have an M for musculoskeletal. Okay, so it's pretty easy. That's really all you need to know about how the codes are sort of structured. You know, you need to understand your own clinical specialties, obviously, but you know, it'll be pretty easy moving from one to the other. So now that we know how the coding system works, let's just take one more look at a couple little things, and let's go to DocPro for a minute. DocPro has already implemented the ICD-10's. They're working great. And if we were to go up to code table 8, and then we would go to diagnoses, and let's just do a find of that. Let's do a find of that 840.4, and you're going to see there's a couple codes in there that match it, but this is the one I want to show you. 843.42 is the code, and then we allow suffixes 1, 2, and 9, which is right, left, or unspecified, and we allow suffixes A, D, or S. So you enter this one code and it creates 9 codes. And it can also print the old ICD-9 code. So this will be the ICD-10 codes. And that's when you're putting in your codes, we'll be putting 9 or 10. I'm not showing you how to do this right now. I just want to show you how these tables are made up. If you want to know how to actually set up DocPro to run this with ICD-10's, you need to go to that tutorial that's on the right side of the website. Now let's go one more thing. Let's go to reports, and let's take a look at the diagnosis code report. I'm going to just print our ICD-10's, and let's go to the screen, and now you can take a look at the code reports. These codes, by the way, are all in the new DocPro. These are all chiropractic and physical therapy diagnoses, the most common ones used. It's very easy to add other specialties, no problem. So, for example, let's get down, see if we can find the S43. Here's the rotator cuff, S43.42, and it shows us what the suffixes are. So we've got 55 items in the report, but we probably have 100 actual items that we can create from that. If you notice, most of these don't even have a suffix, so it's pretty straightforward. These are just the ICD-10's and then the 9's that go with them. The new DocPro, you can start putting in the ICD-10's now, and it will print the ICD-9's, but then in October you flick a switch and it's going to start printing the ICD-10's. So if you want to learn more, you just go to our website. And one other thing I want to point out is there's a great resource on the web called ICD-10. Right here, just go to our site. This is how you can find out what all your codes are. Click Convert. Just put in the code, 840.4, and press Enter. It converts it. Comes up to S43. Click that one, and there it is, sprain of unspecified rotator cuff. Now let's go in just that little box is the real trick. You got to click that, or not click it, point at it, and you're going to see all the codes that the rotator cuff turn into. Okay. Now here it is. S43.42 is a sprain of the rotator cuff, but you can't bill that. That's why it says it shows a red there. You can't bill that. Here's the right one. You can't bill that with the 421, but you can bill the 421 as an initial encounter, subsequent, or sequela. Or you can also bill the left the same way, A, D, or S, and you can bill the unspecified. you won't really use the unspecified. That's really just so you can translate from ICD-9's to ICD-10's, but let's face it, insurances are not going to want to find it as unspecified once October 1st rolls around. So you don't want to be doing that. So that is the whole thing, and it's 10 minutes, and you're now an expert. So if you want to know how to implement them in the Doc Pro for any specialty, and see, we can now print them on the HCFA forms if we need to, but it's too early. But you can put in the ICD-10's and have it print the 9s, and then on October 1st, flick a switch, and you'll be up to date on up to speed on the 10s. Okay, we're done, and check out the actual Doc Pro ICD-10's. Thank you, and have a great day.